Yo, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to be going over the top 5 historical events that I have learned so far in AP World History. Let's get into it. Trying to find something. The Agricultural Revolution. The background to it was that the Paleolithic era was full of hunting and gathering, using of stone tools, and as groups of Homo sapiens ended up in isolate themselves, different cultures arose, such as language, religions, etc. Homo sapiens were originally nomadic and made up of 25 to 50 people, and the tribes were very egalitarian. While population growth and life expectancy were low, Homo sapiens innovated and created new technologies, which led to the Agricultural Revolution! Number 2 in the top 5 historical events I've learned so far in AP World History, the Aztec Empire. It was founded in 1345 by the Mexica tribe, who moved to an island in Lake Texcoco. That island would eventually become the capital city, Tenochtitlan. The Aztec Empire was comprised of 5 to 6 million people, but it wasn't centralized, which led to frequent rebellions among people who were captured. Conquered tribes had to pay tribute to the Aztec Empire in labor, clothing, arms, jewelry, food, animal products, materials, rubber, etc. Tenochtitlan had an elaborate sense of canals, dikes, bridges, and causeways. Very, very advanced. They had these little floating gardens called chinampas, which are used to grow crops. Sacrifices were used to supply their god Huitzilopochtli with strength. And we'll continue to number 3 pretty soon. Number 3, top 5 historical moments I've learned so far in AP World History. The Mongols in Persia. The Mongols' conquest of Persia was much more sudden than their invasion of China. Genghis Khan's grandson Hulagu became the first Khan of Persia. The Mongols devastated the Islamic world. During the sacking of Baghdad, 200,000 Arabs were regrettably killed by Mongols. Peasants were forced to pay heavy taxes and underwent torture or whipping, along with the Mongols' damage to their agriculture. However, the wine and silk industries grew under the Mongol rule in Persia. Later rulers like Ghazan tried to repair earlier damage by rebuilding cities and irrigation systems. Mongol rulers converted to Islam. Their Mongol subjects learned Persian, turned to agriculture, and started marrying Persians. Eventually, Mongol rule disappeared as they assimilated into Persian society. Our number 4 historical moment that I've learned so far in AP World History is the Haitian Revolution. Get ready for a whopper, because this one is quite big and kind of a little fricked up too. French Haiti was the richest colony in the world at one point, with a large sugar and coffee industry, although most of the population was made up of slaves. Plantation owners were complaining about laissez-faire economics. Petit Blancs wanted greater equality for whites, while blacks made up the majority. It started in 1791, when rumors that the king had abolished slavery reached Haiti, where slaves were led by the brilliant Toussaint Louverture, massacring white slave owners. The revolution led to an independence debt, and I say that in air quotes, that the French imposed, which almost bankrupted the country. This inspired slave revolts across the Americas and terrorized whites. Napoleon's failure at reconquering Haiti convinced him to sell Louisiana territory to President Jefferson, believe it or not. And finally, number 5, the last and most important historical event that I've learned so far in AP World History is the Russian Revolution and Communist Russia. While socialism took some root in democratic nations, the more radical forms of socialism, communism, took root in Russia, where there was no democracy, so revolution was a solution. Due to Russia's lackluster performance in World War I, many people expressed outrage at the Tsar and his government, elites, and some plotted revolution. Tsar Nicholas II abdicated in early 1917, ending the 300-year Romanov dynasty, followed by a provisional government. Because of unrest and due by the peasants, the Bolsheviks, headed by Vladimir Lenin, seized power, promising to end the World War, give land to the peasants, workers controlling the factories, which appealed to the poor Russian peasants. They then called their country the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or USSR. Now, Joseph Stalin seized power in the USSR and sought to industrialize the backwards Russia they controlled authoritarianly. The communists suppressed free thinking and forced people to work on collectivized farms. The kulaks, or the richer peasants, were not allowed to work on the farms, and many were killed or sent to the gulags. Because of incompetence in the collectivized farms, a famine ensued, killing 5 million people. Rest in pepperonis for not getting food. In the cities, Russians rapidly industrialized through 5-year plans. Because of this, the Soviet Union thrived while the rest of the world suffered through the Great Depression, providing Russia with the materials to defeat the Nazis. Due to paranoia in the Communist Party, particularly with Joseph Stalin, many people, which include peasants, government officials, and loyal communists, were accused of being corrupted by bourgeoisie over free thinking, and many were killed or sent to the gulags. Thank you for listening to my top 5 most important historical events that I've learned so far in AP World History. I still have to do the exam, regrettably.